Hello again. Back in the 80s, early 80s actually, it was quite fashionable in my peer group to smoke. Now, throughout high school, I was able to say, oh no, it's no good, but when I went to college, I met a lot of new friends, and most of them smoked. I mean, it was the thing to do. And it took me a few months to, I guess, succumb to peer pressure and start smoking too. They couldn't believe I was smoking when I was, but I was. And I became one of the biggest hardcore smokers. I smoked, in fact, for 20 years. Now, about 7 years ago, a friend of mine was trying to quit smoking. Sort of talked me into trying it as well. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll stop smoking too. The first day I tried cold turkey. That didn't work. Didn't work at all. I was getting withdrawal symptoms. I felt like somebody was tightening a hose clamp around my shoulders and turning the screw and the tightness kept on going. It felt like I was going like this. That was my biggest withdrawal symptom, along with being irritable and cranky, even more so than I usually am. But yeah, I thought I'd persevere. I tried weaning myself off. I smoked something like 25 cigarettes a day for 20 years. And I went down to 20 and 10 and 5, and I could kind of manage on 5, but that was pretty hard. Then there was a point where I saw this ad on TV. This was the kind of ad that comes up while the images are scrolling along of what is on. So, it'll say one show is on, another show is on. There's a window on the side, and it would have this advertising, and they were talking about laser treatment, which is basically a laser beam, a pulsating laser beam that acts in the same way as a needle would for, when they stick needles in your nerves and that, it's acupuncture, that's it. Works just like acupuncture, and they use the same points. And apparently the theory is that it stimulates your brain to produce endorphins that plug into the spot where the nicotine molecule would normally go. And for the most part it works. But there's the habit. There's the habit of holding something in your fingers here. And that's a strong one. What I did for a period of about 2 years, I weaned myself off and then smoked again, and weaned myself off and smoked again. One of my biggest behavior modification tricks was to, every time I wanted a cigarette, and that was while I was driving, because I drive for a living, I would stop the car and park, get out of the car and get on the sidewalk, have my cigarette on the sidewalk, but not allow myself to smoke in the car anymore, whether it be my own car or the taxi. Then when I was finished my smoke, I would get back in and drive away. But I had to break that strong habit of every time getting in the car, pushing the lighter into the dashboard, pulling out a smoke, and when it would pop out, light up. That was the strongest link for me. Sometimes I still hold my pen. I have a pen to write things down on the trip sheets and that while I'm working. I hold my pen like this on the steering wheel, and I should have brought a pen, as a prop, but this is just off the top of my head what I'm doing here. Yeah. Memories. Anyway, there was a time when I had got myself weaned down to 1 cigarette a week. I had taken laser treatment a couple times, and I had lapsed. I'd end up in a pub with friends, and we'd be drinking beer, and somebody would light up a cigarette. Oh, that was it for me. I just had to have one. But anyway, I was down to one a week for about, I don't know, 8 or 9 months. I was doing really good. Then I went to Las Vegas. Now, Las Vegas is a setup where you have these sliding doors in front of every casino. And every time you'd be walking down the sidewalk, the doors have these electric eyes which open them up, and you'd get a big waft of everybody's tobacco smoke, because Reno is the ashtray of California. So I was smelling tobacco smoke for a whole week, but I didn't smoke all week. I was visiting a friend who didn't smoke, and they had other guests there, and they didn't smoke either. At the end of the week then, I thought I would go down to Casa Grande, which is down past Phoenix, Arizona. I was looking for car parts. I used to be into the old car hobby a little bit. And on the way down, I think it was in Tonopah, I was behind this truck with gravel in it. And the gravel load wasn't covered, so these little pieces of gravel were flying into the front of my 68 Mercury. I didn't lose the windshield or anything. There's not even a scratch on the paint or the bumpers or nothing. But one of those pointy little rocks went right into the radiator. And this was just after I had it fixed in Seattle on the way down. Because, of course, a piece of road debris got kicked up by a tire from a truck and flew right into the nose of my car once again, or before taking out my radiator. So I'm driving along, I figured I had to stop for something. And there was, smelled like coolant, and I said, where's that coming from? Of course, I would lift the hood, and yeah, there's green coolant all over the place. So that's twice I had to have my radiator repaired, and when I got to Beatty, Nevada, they couldn't fix it there. I would have had to fill it up and drive on that to Las Vegas. So I parked it for the night, but I was at a convenience store, and the first thing I did was buy a pack of smokes. Those white and gold pack Marlboro Lights with the flip-top box. I smoked a pack a day for the next 3 weeks. For the rest of my trip, all the way down to Casa Grande and all the way back to, well, through the Pacific Northwest into the this island here called Vancouver Island. Now you know where I live. Victoria, if you haven't guessed yet. And I went for the laser treatment one more time, followed religiously everything I was supposed to do, and since then I have been free of the tobacco addiction. I do from time to time, when I'm very stressed, want to light up, and sometimes I even do on occasion. My girlfriend smokes, so I sometimes bum one off her, but I make sure I don't smoke 2 at a time, 2 in a row. And you know what? I really feel like having a cigarette now. But I knew someone, back in the 90s sometime when I was still smoking. He said, you know, I really want a cigarette. Now, this guy was pretty old. He said, I never knew you smoked. He says, yeah, I quit in 1955. That had been some 40 years previous. But he still had the urge. So I'm stuck with that no matter what I do the rest of my life. But I'm pretty good at holding it off now. Anyway, I've babbled on quite a bit. I might talk about this issue again. I mean, I tried a few times to quit, but this time I was finally successful. After 20 years of smoking, it took 2 years to quit, and it's been, well, nearly 5 years now since that happened. Anyway, I guess I rambled on quite a bit this time. See you soon. Bye.